Welcome back everyone, I'm Kate Plays Games and it's time for a new game on the channel. And as you can see, the game we're going to be playing for the next little while is Hard Space Shipbreaker. In the near future, mankind has started to spread out throughout the solar system and if not colonise it, at least industrialise it with heavy duty mining operations and other such things. As such, technology is progressing rapidly and new kinds of spaceships are being made all the time. And it is our job, as you can tell by the name of the game, to break down the old obsolete ships and recycle their parts. There is a story, that's what we're going to be doing at the minute because I have deleted my old profile from the first time I played this game and we're going to be making a new game all the way from the start. What we have here is essentially your difficulty selector with easy, normal, hard and hardcore with only a single life. We'll be doing standard, so let's jump right in and see what this game's like. Welcome to horrible, disgusting, smelly, overpopulated and poisoned Earth. Seems we're reading the news. There's more food shortages and some of the nutrient gloop has been contaminated, so it's all bad. And we have applied for a job with the Lynx Corporation. And it looks like we have a reply. And we've been accepted into Lynx Corporation's pioneering Pave the Way to the Galaxy program. So that's really good. That means we've got a job and we can get off this disgusting planet. This is where you enter your character name and the selected revival package is which difficulty you have chosen. As we see, we chose standard, which has unlimited extra lives, and each extra life will cost us $150,000. This is where you can choose which voice you want and whether or not you want up and down to be inverted like flight controls or normal. I've just left it on normal. You choose your meal preferences. It has absolutely no bearing in the game. Food is not really a thing. Just a little bit of lore. You can choose between plastic free or not. And we have to agree to all these ridiculous conditions to be able to get a job. We have no criminal record. I am not a member of a workers' union. I have completed my annual medical exam and I'm fine. I don't have McCulloch's lung, whatever that is. We have no commercial or real estate interests on the asteroid belt or any other, or on the nation state of Arizona. So it seems that the United States is broken up in the near future. I will bring a positive attitude and problem-solving mindset to work every day, okay. I understand and accept the health risks associated with long-term exposure to a van der Waals field. We'll learn what they are soon enough. And the last one is more concerning. I will vote for Chancellor Chung Zeng in the Pan-American Senate election. So to get a job with this place, you have to sign up for all these things. That's what you call voter manipulation. Now the terms and conditions are very, very long. They are very detailed. You can read through them if you wish. And if you do read through them, you'll probably quit the game immediately. So to avoid that, we're just gonna not skip the training and we're gonna put our thumb on here and get a job.
Into the yard to earn his wages working hard. I pray to the stars and heaven above to return my daddy to those he loves. If there comes a time when he and death meet, bless the next cutter that takes his seat.
9346-52. Your automated Lynx onboarding experience will now begin. Please observe this important message.
Space. Boundless promise. Limitless resources. A brighter future. It's here where hard workers like you, the backbone of civilization, will help us pave the way to the galaxy. I'm Calicia Rye Paulson, president of Lynx Corporation's Salvage Division. When my great-great-grandfather Exeter founded Lynx, he foresaw a remarkable opportunity among the stars. His vision eventually brought us the Railgates. Now spanning all the way to Jupiter, these are the veins connecting all of modern civilization. And the people flowing through them are its lifeblood. The Railgates reinvigorated humanity and are key to our continued progress. You've been selected from among thousands of candidates to join the Lynx family. This is more than just a job. It's an opportunity to be part of the largest, most successful, and most pioneering company in human history. Your dream may be to forge your own destiny one day. Well, work hard, heed your superiors, believe in the Lynx vision. Do this, and you too will get your chance. Your first step is to join our EverWork program, the greatest gift we give our employees, turning death into an ongoing opportunity for learning and growth. With Lynx, death is a fresh start. Good luck.
So yeah, very much like EVE Online, we have clones. So every time we die, we spawn in a new clone and we go back to work. They don't even let a dangerous job get in the way of profit making, so let's just press spacebar or click here and begin.
Video observation complete. To finalize onboarding, your genetic sequence will now be extracted for use with the Lynx EverWork Asset Replacement Program. Don't worry, pain levels during extraction are largely tolerable. Please note, as outlined in Section 31 of your employment agreement, the process of genetic extraction will destroy your original body. Beginning extraction now. Extraction analysis and backup complete. Thank you. Beginning spare generation.
Alright, we've been killed and immediately respawned in a new clone, just like we do in EVE Online. So let's continue. Ah, okay. It seems that we have accrued a debt of $1.2 billion. These are all the charges that the company has charged us for training and everything else that it's supplied. It's even charging us $7.50 to generate this report, which is nice. What's the highest cost? $500,000. Genetic backup storage, yeah, that's quite important. Equipment setup, okay, so we're being charged for all the equipment we're using. So yeah, this is going to be fun. We're essentially an indentured servant now. I'm not sure if we're ever going to be able to pay off $1.2 billion. And if we die, the company will just spawn a new clone and put us back to work anyway. Oh, what have we signed up for?
All right. Breathe. You're okay. Everything's gonna be just fine. There you go. Plenty of folks feel a bit woozy with the first spare. Anyway, welcome aboard. The name's Weaver. I'm the foreman for yourself and a couple of other shipbreakers in this region. This here's Morrigan Station. She may not look like much right now, but once we boot her up, she'll purr like a kitten. All right, let's test out your orientation control. Do me a favor and look up at that cargo elevator up above. That's it. So that's where all the salvage gets collected to be picked up by the transfer crew. Just in case you ever turn yourself out of whack, use your roll thrusters to reorient.
There are 6 degrees of movement in Shipbreaker. Forward, back, left, right, and these wrong ones. Like that. And the other
All
way.
right. Now let's get you flying. Activating your thruster controls now. Try moving around.
Forward, back, on, right, and left.
Now vertical control.
And this is the 6th degree of movement, up and down, which is just spacebar to go up, and C to go down.
Looks good. Now, to finalize these movement checks, I need you to fly to these waypoints.
Now, the thing to know about Shipbreaker is that it has Newtonian physics, which means you don't stop unless there is an equal and opposing force. So let's just get over here.
Used to be a cutter myself, you know. Till there was some complications with my last revive. Those are early days in the tech, though, so never you mind about that. Oh, almost forgot the most important thing. Brakes. Get yourself going at a decent clip, and then test them out, why don't you?
Yeah, if you hold Q and D, which are your roll controls at the same time, it brakes you, which is the only way to stop. As I said, there is Newtonian physics here.
Alright. Looks like the bay here was left in a bit of a mess. We're gonna clean this crap up. I'm gonna activate the furnaces. Now. Dang thing. Would you just... There you go. So these furnaces are used to melt down soft metals. Should go without saying. These things are hot as all get out. So, try not to drift into them by accident. Okay, let's get a handle on your grapple tool. This fella here is a shipbreaker's bread and butter. This is how we move salvage around. Activate the beam and hold it to grab an object and move it around, if it's not too heavy. Give it a go, and move one of these pieces into either furnace. So, when you're holding an object with the grapple, you can retract the beam. This will pull a light object to you. If it's heavier than you, it'll pull you towards it.
So yeah, that again is Newtonian physics. If things are less mass than you, they will be pulled towards you. If they are more mass than you, you will be pulled towards them. That's something you have to learn. Something else you need to learn is these bays where we put all the broken down bits of ships do have like a pull range. And if you notice, the bay is not actually square, it's like trapezoidal. Let's just get some height and have a look. As you can tell, these ones are further away than the furnaces are. And the furnace has a stronger pull as well, so not only are they closer together, but their pull is stronger, so if you get anywhere near the furnaces, they'll try and drag you in. What you can then do is use your grapple beam to pull yourself towards one of the non-movable objects, which are the walls, and these strange yellow jumping jack things. These yellow jacks will come in much more important much later on when we get much bigger tasks to do. That over there is the master jack. That's where we start the work day, and there's a terminal there where we can buy various supplies. But for now, let's carry on with the tutorial and move these things. If you notice, when you mouse over things and select them, it tells you it's got this red furnace thing. That's actually telling you where it wants you to put it, which is very nice. So,
check out your HUD when you've got an object grappled. It shows you the mass of the object and whether you can move it or not.
So that the movement or not is this little green mark. As we see, this little tiny piece here is green and it only weighs 65 kilos. So if we were to tap the right mouse button, we'll drag it towards ourselves a little bit. Do be careful when you do this. If you hold down the right button and do the winch, it will speed up the longer you hold it down. So, and you can easily kill yourself with that. I've done it more than a few times. Hey, so we can drag and move things like this. We'll just brake so we don't fly into the furnace. You can just whiplash things around like that. Missed the furnace there. Hopefully that'll bounce into the furnace. Yep, there it goes. Come on, furnace, pull it in. There we go.
Material deposited. Transferring credits.
Or you have a forced push. Line it up with the targeting reticule. Push
Nice job
F.
cleaning up that soft metal.
And away it
scrap
goes.
cutter. Huh. Let's move on to the bigger nanocarbon chunks now, shall we? You may have already noticed that these are too heavy to move with your grapple. I'm enabling your scanner so we can check out their structural makeup. Go ahead and boot it up.
Right, as we see, these are the ones he's talking about. These say processor, which is going to be that and that when he turns them on. Right, activate the scanner.
This mode of your scanner lets you assess an object's structure. What I want you to focus on right now are these cut points. All right. Controls give me the go-ahead to get you cutting. You got quick access to all your tools through your HUD. Just open up your tool selector and choose the cutting tool.
As we see, anything marked in red on this mode of the scanner goes into the furnace because it's red. Anything that's blue goes into the processor, which will be blue. It's all color coded, it's all very nice, and the yellow cut points are things you can cut with your cutting tool to split them into smaller pieces. So T will toggle the scanner back off. As we see, this has a red marker because at the minute it's one solid piece, two nanocarbon panels joined together by a cut point. What it wants us to do is to open the tool menu, which is this silly little menu here, or you can use...
The cutting tool has two modes. The first one is the Stinger. It's designed for precision vaporization of cut points like this. You ready to perform some zero-G surgery, Cutter? Well, let's split this scrap so it's light enough to move.
Or you can use the number keys to change things. 1 is your grapple, 2 is your cutter. It's much easier than using this silly little wheel here, so just use the number keys. The game doesn't tell you that, you just gotta learn it. Okay, we mouse over it, we see it's a cut point grade 1, and because we've just started the game, we can only do grade 1 and maybe grade 2s. You will notice that this little targeting reticule is greyed out because we're not close enough to cut it yet, so when we get close enough it will go red, like that. See, that is gone grey, even though we're close to this, because it's not something we can cut with a cutting beam. This is. Just hold it down.
That's how you do it. Okay, let me boot up the processor so you can salvage these. Do me a favor, look on over at one of them there. Yeah, so I can see if they activate right. Yeah, perfect. Wish me luck here, Cutter. Me and technology ain't always the best of friends. Hey, all right, we're in business. Now swap over to your grapple and toss one of those pieces you separated right in there.
Right, so press 1, switch back over to the grapple, and now when we mouse over these things, we see they're yellow on the pullability scale. They're still pretty heavy, and they're going to move pretty slowly, but we can at least move them because they're not ready anymore. You see, it moves slowly. You can actually, when you play the game, you can actually feel the weight. So, blue things go in the blue things, red things go in the red things. Nice and simple. Right, let's just force push this. Well, force nudge it, because it's heavy. That'll go in, eventually. It'll get drawn in. Don't want to get too close to the processors, because, again, this is effectively the pull range. If you go beyond these lights, you'll start to get sucked in. Get in there. Go on. Go through. There it goes.
Processing object.
Well, okay. We're almost done getting this bay in shape. Let's go after that large aluminum chunk over there. Now this beast is way too heavy to move as is. It's also too dense for your stinger to break it down. And there are no structural cut points for us to take advantage of. We're gonna have to switch over to the split saw mode of your cutting tool, start slicing this thing down to size. Go ahead and switch cut modes now.
Alright, split saw is the alternate mode of this. Just
Now try changing the angle of the cut.
tap V to change between pinpoint stinger mode, which only works on cut points, or this split saw mode. And you just rotate the
We're in
angle.
business. I've unlocked the trigger on your cutting tool. It'll split that big chunk clean in two. Go ahead and give her a whirl. I'm gonna turn on your salvage indicator so you can track how much work there is left to do. This thing will track how much you've salvaged and how much you've lost. For now, let's try and hit that first goal marker. And that's what it's all about, Cutter. The more salvage goals you complete, the closer you'll get to hitting your certifications and ranking up.
What he was talking about is this bar which has appeared at the top of the screen. In yellow, going from left to right, is how much stuff we have put in the correct processors. This little diamond with 1 in the middle of it is our salvage goals. Certain ships have certain number of salvage goals, some of them go as high as 9, and when you hit these salvage goals you'll get experience points, and that's how you level up. And as well as experience points, you'll get company loyalty store points with which you can buy upgrades for your gear, and if you're unfortunate enough to put things in the wrong processor, you will get a red bar running from right to left. And if you put too much stuff in the wrong place or destroy it, then you will not be able to hit your salvage goals because it will move from right to left and block them. Very easy. Again, very much like the Stinger, if you're in range to use this thing, it will go red. If you're not, it will go greyed out. You just see these little dots that are appearing and disappearing show you the length of the cut you will make from your current position. So instead of rotating the cutting tool, you can of course just rotate yourself because you have full freedom to do so. But for the moment, we'll just make it vertical, cut this thing pretty much in half. Now, one thing to notice about this is that this split saw thing is extremely violent, and it does have a knockback effect. So it's good practice to hold down your brakes, which is Q and E, before you pull the trigger. You don't have to hold it down like you do with the Stinger, you just tap the left mouse button like this. And there we go, it's cut it in half. Really, really quickly. Okay, now they're not showing red anymore, they're just showing yellow, which means you can move them. Slowly, but they are moving. You don't have to feed things into the processor one at a time, you can just fire on as much as you want. They might bang into each other and get in each other's way, but that's just how it goes. Let's just get that in here. Use the scanner to see if there's anything else. Yes, there's something. Didn't quite see it there. See if we can't fire this one all the way over there. No, this one. This needs to go in the blue one. Go. Now we've accelerated it, it will slowly move its way towards the processor. We'll just give it a bit of a nudge. This column here is a bit of a pain. If something gets caught on that, usually the two processors start fighting for control of it, and you need to come in with your force push or some other method of moving the pieces and sort it out. Sometimes, because as I said, the furnace does have a stronger pull than the processor, sometimes it's a losing battle. And no matter what you do, it will eventually get dragged into the furnace, which is a bit sad. Speaking of being dragged into the furnace, let's not go too close.
Credits awarded.
It looks like the blue thing finally made it into the blue thing. And these two are slowly being dragged into the furnace.
Material
There they go.
deposited.
So,
Great
that's a lot.
first shift in the yard, Cutter. Let's head on over to your hab and I'll show you the ropes there. Fly on over back to the master jack. I'll put a marker on it so you can find it easy. When you get there, head on in and we'll get started.
And this is not where we live, this is just where we start the working day. Our apartment is somewhere, I think it's there. I'll be able to point it out to you later on in the game, so spoilers. That right there is the railgun, which shoots ships at a decent percentage of the speed of light to wherever they're going in the solar system. There's lots of other space stations in orbit around Earth. It's Earth. This big green thing at the bottom will be taught to us tomorrow. So this is where you can, if you want, end your shift early. Because we're playing career mode, the shifts only last 15 minutes. The lower reasons is that the energy fields that these weapons and abilities generate are dangerous for the human body. I'm not sure why they worry about that, because, you know, when you die they'll just produce a clone. But you are limited to 15-minute shifts per day. There is an open mode where there is no shift timer, but it's good fun, because then you start racing yourself. And can I salvage this entire ship in 1 shift, 2 shifts, 3 shifts? How much money can I make in a shift? Keeps you motivated. And if, like today, I mean, we have no timer. If you've finished all your work and there's nothing left on scanner, like nothing left to put into any of the processors, you can end your shift early by coming through this door. Like this. Okay, this is the rundown of everything we did today. We didn't destroy anything, which is great. We salvaged 100% of everything, and we made damn near $500,000. Nice.
New certification level attained. License level increased.
Check that out. We've leveled up. There are 30 levels to get in the game, and we're level 2 already, so lovely.
Hello, Shipbreaker. You have 1 incoming transmission waiting.
Right, this is our lovely little home. We'll have a look at the workstation. This is where we can do all our upgrades. This is what our suit looks like. You can change all the posters and stuff. This is the living space. Little kitchen with which you do absolutely nothing. That's the bed. That's where we start every day. This is our communications thing. That in there is the restroom and showering facilities. Right, this is not going to stop beeping at us, so let's receive this call.
Welcome to your new home, Cutter. Has everything you need. This is officially called a ready-made long-term employee habitation something or other. Around here, we just call it your hab. Now, how's about you get yourself some rest? We'll pick up your training in the morning. Sleep tight there, Cutter.
Hello, Shipbreaker. Overnight genetic backup complete. Pattern deviation nominal. Have a good day.
So yeah, they back up your genetic data every day, so whenever they make a clone, it's always that morning's clone. Okay, we've got a lot of emails to read at the terminal. Don't worry about this minimum payments are due by 10 AM thing. It's absolute nonsense. You can spend as long as you want inside the hab. And there is no rush during your shift to make a certain amount of money before a certain amount of time. It's absolute nonsense.
Rise and shine, Cutter. Hope you feel well rested. Ready to continue your training? Okay, let's have a look at your employee terminal. Now, let's get caught up on career progression and certification. I've sent you a message with an explanation. Go on and give it a read.
There we are. Press space to read our emails. And we have 6 of them. This is just lore about your cloning system. Press tab to go back. Because we've leveled up, we've unlocked access to the next category of ship that we can take apart. Oh yes, we're not just cutting up little bits of metal anymore. Now we're actually progressing on to cutting up entire ships, which is the entire point of the game. Salvage goals I've told you about. Financial relief program. Nonsense. Again, this tells you all about the new abilities you've unlocked, which is our scanner, and this is the bit we need to read.
Clear as mud? Don't worry, I'm here to walk you through the process. Soon enough, I'm going to introduce you to some of the other shipbreakers. Most of them are willing to help you out, too. All right, let's start a new shift and pick your first ship to work on.
Right, so certification, as we see, 30 levels to get to. And when you mouse over it, it tells you what gets unlocked. So, we are level 2 right now. We've unlocked the Mackerel class light cargo ship. as you rank up, you start unlocking more and more and more things. There are not too many ships. I think there's only 4 kinds of ships, but they come in like small, medium, large, and like industrial, cargo, fuel, science, passenger transport. So there's like lots of different variations. You will notice that beyond level 20, nothing gets unlocked. So anything above level 20 is just you flexing. So really there's only actually 20 levels and we're on level 2 already, so we're 10% of the way to maximum, so that's nice. But you can do it any time. You just hold down T, start shift, or you come to this door and do it that way. So we'll just hold down T.
This screen shows which ships you have access to. Each morning, you can choose to continue working on the ship you got, or start a fresh one. Go ahead and claim one, and we'll get to work.
Right, this tells us what hazards are on the ship. They're all greyed out, so there's no hazards, which is nice. And they're all greyed out on these. As we see, the mass of the ship is how much the ship weighs. I believe that once you upgrade your pulling beam to maximum, it can pull things about 50,000 kilograms. So if you want to min-max, you can indeed just fire an entire ship into one of the 2 processors, and a decent amount of the stuff you throw in will count towards your salvage goals. So if we threw this whole ship in the furnace, then we might get enough burnable furnace stuff to reach 2 salvage goals, and the rest of it will be wrong and that will be red, but you will get 10 experience points and 4 and 5 loyalty points. This is what speedrunners do all the time. There is a speedrunning community in the game, and the things they do are absolutely insane. The value is the total value available in the ship. Hazard level is how dangerous the ship is to work on. So because all the hazards are greyed out, let's just go for the ship which has the highest value. So 2533, let's do this one. And as he says, at the end of your shift, the ship should be like half deconstructed, and if you've done like 3 out of the possible 5 goals, what you can do, you can either go back out the next day and finish off this ship to get 2 more goals, or you can just pick a new ship and try and get 3 again. There is absolutely no penalty for abandoning a ship. All you do is that you forfeit the value of the ship to the company, and the company's like, hey, thanks for the money, dude. We don't have to pay you to take it apart anymore. So that's how it works. So again, if you're speedrunning or absolutely min-maxing, you can just go for as many goals as you can very early on and then abandon the ship and get a new ship. But because OCD, I like doing every single bit because it's very satisfying.
She's all yours, Cutter. Your primary goal is to reach rank 3. Now try to remember, nanocarbon goes in the processor, aluminum goes in the furnace. Try to salvage the entire ship if you can. We call it using the whole buffalo. You'll hit your certs faster that way and start knocking out that debt of yours. I'll be observing and giving you any help if you need it. Good luck, Cutter. Weaver out.
Alright, this is our first entire ship. Let's take a look around it. Everything's red at the moment because it's all in one giant piece. This is the engine at the back. Looks like there's cut points to release the engine. But if we use the scanner, it will then show us what's inside. Now all this stuff with the white box with the red line through it means it's decompressed, and it means that it cannot be compressed. Compression will be taught about later on. What I was really looking for is the airlock, which looks like it's right in front of us. Yes, here we go. This is how you get into the ship. Because usually, from inside the ship, we'll find a way into the crawl space. Oh look, we're in the crawl space already. And what do we see? Lots of cutting points to cut open the ship. There is a light you can toggle with the number 5 key. It's always good to have it on. No penalty for having it on or off. Right, so this is the cockpit. These floating things, you can pick these up later on in the game, which we'll need. So, one of the problems I have here is that the glass is worth quite a lot. It's worth 88,500, and it wants to go in the furnace, but it's embedded into this nanocarbon panel, and there are no yellow cut points, so we're going to have to use a split saw to cut the glass out. So sometimes you do have to do that. You have to separate things. Now these arrows here, which are moving when we put the reticule over this door, means it can be pulled off with our pulling beam. So we'll just hold it. As we see, we got that timer, and that tells us that the door is now free to move. Again, don't pull things towards yourself too quickly, otherwise you'll hit yourself in the face, and that's bad times. Again, that's another little thing that you can pick up later on in the game. Now, the way I like to do ships is that I like to remove all of the outer paneling first, and then do the inner, because the inner...
I know these ships look intimidating to scrap at first, but trust me, soon enough, you'll be stripping the huge Gecko-class freighters like nothing. Got my start, salvaging back down Earthside, in the droid scrapping biz. You know what made me come up here? One day, we got a batch of this particular model in, one of them kinds with synthetic skin and everything. We almost never saw people-looking ones like that. They're always too expensive to manufacture. Seems someone found a warehouse full of them, mothballed for, 20 years or so, since the AI ban took effect. Probably bought the whole lot for pennies, thinking they could turn a tide of profit with the salvage. No word of a lie. These things looked exactly like my stepbrother Jed. Even had the same slack-jawed expression. Now, Jed and I wasn't exactly pals or nothing, but all the same, I couldn't bring myself to start smashing that dopey face. And that's when I looked into getting on with Lynx. I tell you what, it's a sight better to cut up something that doesn't look like a family relation. Anyway, I'm running on. I'll clear the channel. Holler if there's anything giving you grief up there, Cutter. Weaver out.
God, he never shuts up. As I was about to say, the inner hull of the ship is usually all aluminium and goes in the furnace, and the outer stuff is usually nanocarbon and goes in the processor. So I usually like to take the outer skin off and then work my way in. So let's just cut these cutting beams. Now you will notice on the lower right hand side of the screen there is this cutter temperature. The more you use it, the hotter it gets. If it gets too hot, it will injure us. So let's not injure ourselves. Let's just let it cool down before we do each cut. I'm just going to cut all these cut points, and then we'll take all the skin of the ship off. Oops, that was almost too hot. That was a little warning temperature beep. We could of course use the split saw mode to cut these things, but the split saw can damage things behind it because it's a big area of effect things, so I usually like to just use the stinger on cut points. Speedrunners can hit 2 or 3 cut points with a single click of the split saw because these guys are insane. Let's just go back out the way we came in and get into the other crawl space and take this side of the ship apart, including the airlock supports. The split saw is faster because it's a single click. You don't have to hold down the button like you do with the stinger, but it's much more wild. Okay, there's one up there. We might have missed one up on the other side. We'll check. I think we can fit in here. Yeah, we did miss one here. Right, let's get rid of that. And now I do believe we should be able to pull apart the skin of the ship. One other thing I'm going to do is hit these ones here, which will let us remove the back end of the ship as well. You'll notice when you look around, like your orientation gets all messed up, and it's like, can you tell what is up and what is down now? Because I certainly can't. I've got no idea. There is no attitude control on the head-up display. I could be upside down right now for all I know. But then we're in space, so who cares? Right, that's freed up this bit. Let's try and find our way out, shall we? Where's the way out? Where is the airlock? Ah, here we are. Right, find my way out, that's good. And, oh, we're the right way up. Right, let's start peeling this ship apart onto the movement thing. When things are movable, when you click on them, they will have a blue outline, which is nice. Come on, get moving. Let's not put that too close to the furnace, because the furnace will drag it in. On the weight scale, this is very close to being red. It's only just yellow. Now, if we try and pull this towards us, will we move towards it, or will it move towards us? A little bit of both. We seem to both be approaching the centre line. That's good to know. Give it a bit of a force push towards the processor where it's supposed to be going. Okay, the red beam means that the angle's too big and it's not really pulling anymore. Right, we'll just hope that gets in there. Do the same with this bit. Come on, little beam, you can do it. Nope, didn't quite make it with that big bit. As you'll notice, this thing is lighter, which is why it's moving faster. I said, Newtonian physics for the win!
Processor deposit accepted.
Get in the
Credits
processor.
awarded.
Don't... See, I can't really go too much closer in myself, otherwise I'll get dragged into the processor. Right. Let's move this bit. Hold Q and E, keep my brakes on so I don't get pulled towards it. Come on. Hey, the first bit finally made it in. Right, are you going fast enough now that I can let go? Maybe. It's a fairly small chunk, so this will move quite fast. There it goes.
Valuable object processed.
I think we'll let inertia and momentum take care of that bit for us. Okay, that's that done. Let's get to the back. Good, this big bit is blue.
Salvage goal achieved. Rewards allocated.
The good thing is that this thruster cap is processor, and this is processor, so we don't need to cut these cut points here, because we are able to move this whole thing slowly in a single piece. Let's just get round the other side, grab it, and try and move it. So, I mean, it's only just, you will notice it's only just yellow, so this is going to move very slowly. No. Right, come here. I'll grab it there. And you will notice that where you grab things is important, because that is where the physics happens. So let's grab it there. So it'll be pulled by that bit, which is why it's rotating towards us. All of this does take a little bit of getting used to, but by the time you've finished the game, you'll be an absolute expert. Right. Is that good enough? Let's go down. No, it's still moving sideways. Move that way, please. Now, there are no energy barrier walls around this. If we accidentally force push something that's very small, it'll burn up in Earth's atmosphere, or it'll disappear off into space, and you'll lose the value of it. So do be careful when you're using your force push. Oh, we'll come back to that big chunk later. Let's get round the other side and get rid of the other side of the ship and stick it in the processor. Well, we've hit our first salvage goal, so that's great. You'll see, it is slowly drifting apart because physics. Once you've removed lots of weight from the ship,
Valuable object processed.
what is left of the ship itself will start moving.
Salvage goal met. Rewards will be paid.
That might make it, it might not. Hey, look, the big bit made it. So yeah, you will notice that the central spine of the ship is now pointing downwards, because we've been moving these parts and they have been exerting a very small amount of force on what's left of the ship. that will become much more important a little bit later on. Okay, are these bits going to get in each other's way, or are they just going to bounce themselves in? Looks like they're going to bounce themselves in, that's good. And this bit... Come on. There are, of course, upgrades which change the strength and range of all your equipment, because this is like pulling teeth at the moment. You know, I said about the 15-minute shifts, that has not been turned on yet. It will get turned on very soon. Right, and this big bit is it's relatively light. Large in size, pretty light in weight, so this will move quite quickly. Oh, no, come back, come back. Don't go in the processor, you've got the glass. Damn, I forgot to do that. Okay, now we're in trouble. Before I did that, I went to all the trouble of telling you that we had to get the glass out of this thing, and then I didn't do it, so now we're going to have to cut the glass from a moving object. That's going to be fun. Right, change mode with V. We're going to need the split saw. Let's change the angle to that. Line ourselves up. Use the brake. Get the dots where we want them. One cut there in the top of the glass. Let's come down, do the bottom. Again, hold the brakes when you're using the split saw. That looks pretty good. Now, can we line ourselves up properly? Okay, looks like we managed to get this entire thing to stop on the what's left of the ship, which is good. It means it's not moving anymore. Now, there is a way of lining yourself up perfectly. That's not quite perfect. So you can cut the entire cockpit out with a single cut. That looked pretty good. You want to make your cuts as close as possible. Well, that definitely did, because now it's free floating. Looks like we missed a little bit here. Where did we miss? That tiny little bit right at the bottom. Right, that's just going to float away if we don't stop it with our thing. Even though it doesn't look like it's still attached, it is, because they're moving together. This looks clear. Looks like this tiny little bit at the bottom is the only bit I missed. So let's go back to the split saw and then do a little cut. Just a little shave here. Now they're moving independently. Jolly good. Right, and that's how you save lots of money. This goes in here, and this will be much quicker to move because it's very light. And that
Object processed.
means...
Transferring credits.
Now, remember, last time we looked at the glass, it was worth 83,000 something. And because we used a split saw, we burnt away some of it. But, you know, still enough. So that goes in the furnace.
Material accepted. Credits
Jolly
transferred.
good. Jolly good. Right, and that bit's going to separate from that bit now, because the glass is no longer holding them together. So that goes in there. Oops. Okay, we've split it into 4 different parts. Yeah, cut points are not the only way of separating things.
Processing valuable deposit.
Get in there.
Credits transferred.
So you see how easy light things are to move around. So we know that like pretty much the entire hull is all supposed to go in the furnace, like furnace, 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 furnace. But because it is one single piece, it will be very heavy to move. So you can use a split saw to cut it down to size. Let's just blast that straight into the processor.
Valuable object accepted for processing.
Looks like the roof and the floor are both cut points. Right, let's just do a split saw. As we see, we're only going to hit the cut point and nothing else, because it's the only thing that is being indicated to be cut. So if we were to do that, we would cut a little bit of the nanocarbon and the cut point. So we'll just mouse back over the cut point. As you'll see from the yellow outline on the cut point means that is all that's going to be cut. So, blap. It is slightly quicker than using the Stinger, but for precision, I like using the Stinger. So let's do all the cut points in the top and the bottom. We'll release the floor and the ceiling. We should take that door out as well at some point. It will take you a little bit of time, but you will begin to understand the layout of all the different ship classes. and which cut points separate which parts of which ships. At the moment, I'm going to leave these cut points intact because that is joining furnace stuff to other furnace stuff. So why cut it? The only reason I would cut this is if we were unable to move what is left of the ship. But I think we'll be okay. So let's go back to the grapple tool. Again, just the energy from us cutting the cut points was enough to get these things moving. They're fairly light, so we'll just force blast them in there. Get this one moving.
Deposit accepted for processing.
Force push it. And this bit. Now we'll just take it across to this one. And force push. Right, that'll go in. Now we need to go down and get the floor. Let's take this piece first. You can injure yourself, as I've said, either by pulling things towards yourself too close or you pulling yourself towards them too fast. That will also injure you. At the moment, the health and oxygen bars, which will be on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, are not turned on because this is still the tutorial, so it's being very forgiving. We have no shift timer, no oxygen, no health.
Object processed. Transferring credits.
Just
Salvage goal
goals.
obtained. Additional rewards assigned.
Yep, we missed the third part of the floor. Let's just pull it. And that will go in there all on its own. Alright, is this bit of the hull weak enough that we can move it? No. So when we mouse over it and click, even though it's all one solid piece, it's got a yellow outline, which means we cannot move it. Speaking of things you can move, let's get this door. And line it up carefully. Because if it's all too easy with very light objects
Accepted for processing.
to kind of sling them in the general direction of these and then press F, and if you're ever so slightly out, it will bounce off and disappear off into Earth's atmosphere, or bounce up and go out into outer space, and you lose the value of it. Okay, so because we're unable to move all of this, we can either slice it up with the split saw, but I think what we'll do, we'll just pop the end off with the stinger with these 4 remaining cut points and see if that's going to lighten it up enough for us to move it. Right, the front bit definitely is movable because it's gone blue. And you will notice, because it's snagged up on this, it is dragging around the rest of the ship. That's why you have to plan out what you're doing. Oops, nearly hurt myself. Especially on ships with atmospheres, which we'll be taught about very soon. Right, that can go in there. All of that is furnace. Just check, because sometimes you get panels which are not furnace. Like for instance, one of these panels might say processor, in which case you're going to have to free it.
Material deposited.
And the way to free these panels is that you cut these beams. These beams that hold it together. And as we see, as we cut these beams, we are losing value. And we have got a tiny sliver of red on the right hand side of our progress meter at the top of the screen. Now have we freed that panel? Not quite. Looks like we have to do the internal ones as well. Here, these panels are held to each other by the 4 outer beams and are held to the structure of the ship by these inner beams. So actually getting 100% of any ship is quite difficult. I could have got 100% of this, but I wanted to do that just to show you. Oh, okay, that panel is apparently still held in by something. What's it held on by? That's clear. That's clear, I think. Is it perhaps this? No, in fact, rather than cutting that whole beam, I think I'll try split sawing it. Whoops. There you go. That's the problem with the split saw. It does a lot of damage and it's quite indiscriminate. Is this panel movable now? No. I think it's maybe stuck to this other panel. But you can pull out individual panels, which will become more important later on. Okay, everything is still showing red, so we can't move it. So we are actually going to have to split this thing up. That's fine, we kind of did that with the split saw. So, line yourself up with these beams, which hold everything together. Slam on your brakes and left click. And now, hopefully, we'll be able to move it. Yep, it's got a blue outline. Well, we've only freed up this one little bit. But even though it has a blue outline, that just means it's moving. The red outline saying furnace tells us where to put it. Sometimes you can get confused and think, oh, it's got a blue outline, it's supposed to go in the processor. No, furnace. Get in there. Right, is this bit movable? No. What? Really? Okay, we're going to have to do more cutting. Oh, I see. We missed a little bit down here. Now is it movable? Yeah,
Material
good.
deposited.
Is
Account
this
credit
rear
applied.
action...
All salvage goals complete. All rewards allocated.
Okay, now we have a dilemma. We have hit all 5 of our salvage holes with this ship, which means there's not really any point to salvaging it anymore. We will not be getting any experience, we will not be getting any loyalty points. We will, though, continue to generate cash. Letting you into a little secret here. Cash doesn't matter. Hey, is this big section
Raw
movable?
material
Yes, it is.
processed.
Good.
Credits deposited.
Whoops. Ooh, don't hit yourself with bits of the ship. And we've set it spinning. Go. Slam on the anchors, pull it towards us. Go in the furnace. Go in the furnace, please. And you need to go in the furnace. What's that bit that's hooked round it? That's furnace as well, that's fine. Come on, big bit. Go in the furnace. Get force pushed. Again, you can...
Material accepted.
You can rank up your force push so it's a lot stronger as well. See, after you've reached all the salvage goals, there is no point in carrying on with the ship unless you're OCD like me and you like using every single part of the ship, because you're not earning anything. Experience and loyalty points are all that matters. Cash doesn't matter, even though we're 1.2 billion in debt, and that's why it doesn't matter. You're never going to pay off the debt, so who cares about cash?
Deposit
good, it's gone.
accepted.
And as it slowly gets eaten, the progress bar will fill up, and if we've done everything correct, the red bar and the yellow bar should meet, and they should touch each other if you've done everything. What have we missed? Oh, these little bits that we can't interact with yet. Okay. These are all these little bits of wire and other doodads that we found inside the ship. We can't pick them up at the moment. That's why the game reckons that we're missing some stuff. As we see, we have salvage 98.6%, remaining 0.6%. That's the stuff we cannot pick up, and we destroyed at 0.8%. So that's pretty good. So we made 2.5 million today. What, 50 rank up points and a whole bunch of loyalty points as well. Nice. Right, let's head back to the hab and finish our shift. And in fact, we'll do that at the start of the next episode. We've been going for an hour, believe it or not. So that is how you break up ships in Shipbreaker. Pretty much all the gameplay is exactly the same. The ships do get bigger. That was a very small ship. That was only a mackerel. As I said, there's 4 classes of ship, with lots of subclasses in between, lots more hazards and a lot more complexity to come. We've only scratched the surface. So I'm going to meet you at the start of the next episode. Until then, do look after yourself, and I'll speak to you again very soon.